What's up YouTube, Luke the Window Cleaner. Today we're going to be talking about how to choose a water-fed pole. We get asked all the time on what water-fed pole would be best for you. It's hard to say. I think it all depends on three things. One being your budget, two, the frequency you're using the pole, and three, what are you cleaning? Is it residential, is it commercial, is it large commercial? So those are going to be the three factors that we're going to look at today and trying to help you on picking out your first water-fed pole. Okay, so first is the budget. Obviously, that's going to be the first main thing that's going to determine what pole you're going to buy. Poles start anywhere from a few $100s all the way up to a couple $1,000s. And it all depends on the material of the pole that you're wanting to purchase. Aluminum water-fed poles are going to be the cheapest water-fed pole that you can purchase, but they are going to have the most amount of flex. So I would say a rule of thumb, the cheaper the pole, the more of the flex you're going to have in the pole, and the more expensive poles will have the least amount of flex. Now the reason that's important is because when you're using the pole, you will waste a lot of energy in the flex of the pole. So the more rigid the pole is, the more efficient you can clean windows. So you have aluminum poles, fiberglass poles, hybrid poles, which is usually a carbon fiber fiberglass blend, and then you have carbon fiber. Now when it comes to the carbon fiber, you have varying degrees of carbon fiber as well that can also affect that price of the pole. I've got a large selection of poles here. So for example, this here is the Zero Pro Basic. This is a basic carbon fiber. This is going to be on the lower end of the carbon fiber range. This is going to be much more rigid than an aluminum or fiberglass pole. This is a great beginner's pole, especially if you're wanting something more budget friendly. Then you move up to more of a 3K wrap. This pole is going to be extremely rigid. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than the Pro Basic, but this is going to deliver a lot more rigidity. And then you've got ultra high modulus. This right now in the window cleaning world, this is what I consider top of the line. It's not as rigid as 3K, but this is an extremely light pole, which makes it great for everyday use. And let's get into that next. I think the next determining factor in choosing your water-fed pole is how often you're using it. If you're only using a water-fed pole, say 1 to 2 days a week, a pole like the Zero Basic would be great for you because you're not using it that often. If you're using it every single day, I would seriously consider looking into getting a 3K pole or an ultra high modulus pole.
You're gonna thank me later for it.
For example, the 3K will be much more rigid, it will have a lot less flex, and an ultra high modulus pole is gonna be extremely light and just easy to use. What you're cleaning actually really affects what kind of pole you want to purchase as well. If you're cleaning residential, the collapse length of the pole will start to come into play. For example, the Ungarn light, I love the Ungarn light. It's got an extremely long collapse length to it, which makes it a little cumbersome to work at houses with. Something like a micro pole might be a good fit. This thing has a crazy collapse length on it. This makes it ideal for working around bushes or tight little situations. So I always suggest if you're looking for a residential pole, try to get something that has a shorter collapse length to it. If you're going to be cleaning larger commercial jobs, it's always a good idea to purchase a pole that will accommodate extensions. So if you come across a job that's just say a story or two higher than what the pole will reach, you can just take out the extension, slap it onto the pole, and you're good to go. And then when you're finished, just take the section off and it'll be there for when you need it next time. This way you're not buying a whole nother pole just for that job. Guys, there are a lot of poles on the market and there are a lot of different brands. I personally am a huge fan of the Zero line, simply because you can't really beat the price and the quality of a Zero water-fed pole. When it comes to the carbon fiber that's used for the water-fed poles, most of them, to be honest with you, most brands, all of their carbon fiber comes from the same place. I think what you're going to find, what really sets poles apart, is the customer service that that brand offers and the hardware that goes on each pole. The hardware and clamps is a huge part of the pole. Again, most companies are using the same carbon fiber, so that's not what's necessarily going to set it apart. It's going to be the hardware. And of course, did the company put in a lot of thought to the overall length and collapse length of the pole? This is also an extremely important part to look at. Helping someone choose the right water-fed pole is always a really hard question to answer. I think there's a lot of factors that goes involved. So if you do need help, you can always contact us, comment on the video, reach out to us on Facebook, contact us on Instagram or the forum at lukethewindowcleaner.com/community, and you can always reach out to windowcleaner.com as well. All right, thanks. Bye.